If this video got sent to you, that probably means that we've already hopped on one call on each other, and I've shared some strategies with you on how to scale past 10, 20K. But the thing that most people don't understand is that it's not only about strategy, but it's about strategy and execution. And in order to fulfill execution, you need to be on the right identity. You need to eliminate specific limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck. And so in this video, after our call, I just share with you 9 top limiting beliefs that I've seen after talking to over 100 people, that I've seen in myself as well before scaling past 15K, that just kept me stuck for a bunch of time. And in this video, I'll just show you exactly how to fix them. I'll reframe them. And in the end, you'll make so much more progress way faster. So make sure to watch till the end. Grab a cup of coffee, do something in the background, go gymming, whatever. Put this in the background and listen to this in the background. Focus and let's get it, man.
Okay, so the first thing on the list is letting your past influence your future actions and decisions. So let me get one thing clear. There will always be kind of like the two identities inside of you. We'll always have like these identities profiles, right? And you're just kind of behaving as one person one day and the other person one day. They kind of switch around and mix together. But in the end, we can break it down into a couple of different identities. And we can kind of distinguish them into your old self, right? And your future self. And your past self is like the guy making like, let's say 0 or like maybe 1K a month max, right? He has all these limiting beliefs, like all this kind of stuff. He has a lot of doubts. He has a lot of fears. He needs to just do so much stuff. And he is really hard for him to make progress. Whereas your future self is the guy who thinks at a different level, at the level of 10, 20K a month, right? He thinks at that level. He has all the emotions at that level. He behaves like that person and all this kind of stuff. He's that guy who just goes out there and executes. He's that guy who just does the work and he sees results, right? And so will always be a discrepancy between these two, right? You always have a difference between those two. And it's most likely that you'll kind of switch around from one frequency to another, and you have these periods. But in the end, what I'm trying to tell you here is that if we break it down into first principles, if we're trying to get to 10K a month or like 20K a month, what we're essentially trying to do is make universe give it to us, okay? It might seem a bit abstract at first, but in the end, it's just letting the universe kind of see that, okay, we are worthy of these numbers, and so let me actually reward this guy for putting in the right frequency, the right thoughts, the right emotions, the right actions, and I'll just give you the actual result, right? And all the universe cares about is your frequency, okay? The only thing it cares about is your frequency. And so in the end, think about it like this. If you had the frequency of the person doing 20K a month, and you've sustained that frequency, you've maintained that frequency for like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is, you will see results. You eventually, if you just start behaving, if you start thinking, if you start having the same emotions as that person who is already at 20K a month, you will eventually see your business completely changing. You getting to XYZ amount of, progress. You will just see great progress around. So you have to stop thinking like that person who has the old frequency, and start thinking as that guy who already has that positive frequency, that frequency that is already capable of achieving 10, 20K a month. And as abstract as it may sound, but if we take a look at this biologically, it might be pretty hard to eliminate the old frequency at first, right? Because every single human being, like from naturally, the only reason we are here is to survive and reproduce, right? And the same thing goes for the old frequency. It feels like an animal of some sort, right? Excuse my drawings real quick. It feels like an animal. It wants to survive. And so it will keep you away from thinking on this higher level. It will give you doubts, it will give you fears, and ultimately all the stuff that just keeps happening in your life, it just comes down to eliminating this guy. And that's also why there's this thing called, if you want to, like, the cost of you becoming your future self is killing your old identity. It is hard, don't get me wrong, it is absolutely freaking hard to kill that motherfucker, to kill that guy who just keeps you away from getting to that 20K a month, but it is necessary to get there, okay? So the hardest path is just installing that level of perception of your future self already and according in alliance of this guy, okay? So yeah, that's the first thing. Second thing is living in scarcity instead of pure abundance. So we'll always have these two things, which is the scarcity thing and there's the abundance thing. Now, scarcity is like this limited time thinking where everything feels like there's not enough money on the world. There is, I can't achieve it. It's very hard to achieve anything if you're just constantly living in scarcity. Because if you just think in scarcity, you might think that, $500 is a lot of money. Whereas someone in abundance can spend even like 10K knowing that he always can make it back. He can make like 100K back and he's willing to take the risk, right? So in the end, always people with the right frequency, the right abundance will win, will see results in business because they're willing to take more risks. They're willing to look at things differently. They're willing to accept all the pressure, but live without it and still move in alignment with their future frequency. And they're just willing to do more because they know they can make it back. They know they have the right systems. They know they have a process that just repeatedly prints them money. And they don't live in that scarcity where you kind of feel bad for like spending $10 on a freaking sandwich. You know what I mean? Because they're making so much money, they genuinely don't care. And like with that abundance, it's just very, very easy to just make progress quickly, right? And I had this scarcity mindset for a bunch of time. For example, like as of myself, I had it all the time. I was scared of investing $5 or $10 a month for a software. As crazy as it may sound. I've been there. But right now I'm in this spot where I'm making a bunch of money, I have all these clients. I know I can make it back. I have a repeatable process. I'm having this abundance mindset. I'm thinking as the future frequency of it being like at 50K a month, right? And so I'm allowed to have all this abundance. And once I have that, it's very easy to make progress fast, right? So that's the next thing. Third thing is chasing high-end shiny object syndrome, right? Chasing shiny object, having the shiny object syndrome. You made heard of it. And yeah, this is something that personally kept me stuck for a very long time. Just to be completely honest, I've been there and it made me miserable. Like I've started over 10 businesses in like 3 years over time. Most of them failed, just to be completely honest, like nine kind of failed. From there, like I don't remember, it's like 10 or like 15, something like that. But from there, most of them failed. And the reason why they failed is not because it was a bad model. It's not because the business model was bad. You can make money doing basically anything. There's people out there making 50K a month picking up trash. You know what I mean? So it's never about how good the model is. It's always about how good your commitment to it is, right? So, for example, I had one guy who, I'm not going to say his name, but he was one of my mentors back in the day, and he was running this big coaching business, right? He was doing like 50 to even like 100K in a month, and he was doing absolutely amazing. He was scaling clients to like past like 100K a month. He had a lot of clients. He was just completely grinding it. But then he created a mastermind, and during that mastermind, he actually got an opportunity to partner up with a guy and create like a new agency of like AI automation. And the thing is that he perceived it as a new opportunity to make money. But in the end, the right move to do, and everyone will tell you that, like in the end, is just sticking to one thing for a lot of time, and just keep it going. Whereas if you switch from one thing to another, which I've done, trust me, I've done, it just doesn't work. Why? Because first of all, you don't master one thing. Second of all, it feels like you can make so much money fast, but at the same time, it's kind of the thing where it usually takes a bit longer than you expect it to. But that's fine, because if you just stick with one thing, You just low-key don't care. You know what I mean? And there's also this thing where, we as entrepreneurs, we took the big risk and we went after our dreams. We are rewarded for making a decision to change something. But after that, like Hormozi said, for example, on one of his masterminds, is that we first get rewarded from switching, for example, from 9-to-5 jobs into entrepreneurship. But then after that, we can't let the same way of thinking influence us again, because if we just switch businesses, eventually you won't see any results, right? So if you just picked one business that has high potential, can scale, the market is good, all this kind of stuff, and you've just grinded it out, I promise to you, if you just stick with it for like 10 years, you will see results. You absolutely freaking will. Obviously, it will happen faster, depending on your level of commitment, but you can absolutely see results, but you just have to stick with one thing, And so back into my mentor, what kind of ended up happening is he hired like 3 developers. He has his like business partner, and he ended up like 14K in debt while not making that much money from the agency itself. And he ended up going back into the coaching business because in the end he understood that this is something he's great at, right? And now he's coming back, he's getting back with all of the systems, and he eventually will make it work, right? So yeah, that's the third thing. Fourth thing is trying to blast out content and high-end funnels without proper foundations. And oh boy, it kept me stuck for a long time. Okay, let's just say that. So when I talk to all these like young entrepreneurs, people that are like 16, 18, 20, 22, whatever it is, they always think in like this way of, systems and optimization. And don't get me wrong, it's a great way of thinking. But in order to get from like 0 to 10K a month, it's purely action, pure action. Like, obviously you need some systems to back it up. You need like a proper foundations, but it's not like you're operating on this like high leverage, like, CEO, whatever. Like you're not doing that yet. All you're doing is just having a great offer. You have good sales skills. You can deliver to clients. You have good delivery. And you do a lot of volume, a ton of volume, you tweak your approach, and that's it. Whereas what I see happening with like, especially coaches, because obviously I help coaches, agencies, grow operators, but what I start doing is they start blasting out content straight away, because they see all this hype for content, or like, Hormozi talking about how content helps his brand and everything. Absolutely, it can work, but it kind of won't work when you're just starting out, because first of all, you don't have the authority yet. You don't like know exactly what you're talking about. When you're just starting out, you still need to figure out delivery. You still need to become that expert before you actually do the thing. As well as if you just don't know content, it's very, very, very hard to proceed with it and optimize it in a way that it actually works. It's hard to do it without a proper team, without a proper strategy, because like I see people even like editing for themselves. Like, do you realize how low frequency and like low leverage editing your own content feels like? Like, you could outsource it probably for like $20 and you're just slaving away from like 3 hours. There's no point in that. You know what I mean? You as an entrepreneur, you need to value your time. And as a result, you just have to identify a couple of things that will just drive the business forward. Just like, getting more conversations, getting more clients, delivering to clients better, optimizing the system as a whole. And then once you've done that, like that's all it takes to get to 10, 15K a month. Literally. You don't have to overcomplicate everything. You just have to get good at a couple of things that then you will just see results. Obviously, like then after that, like 15 to let's say 50, it is a bit of a different story, because you have to finally start considering different, funnels and like conversions. Like it will kind of depend, because it will be kind of tougher to just like, do one thing and just do it more. Sure, it works, but in the end, you will have to integrate new strategies. You'll have new bottlenecks that you need to solve. But from 0 to like 10, even 20K a month, it doesn't matter. Like genuinely, it does not matter. You just need to get good at a couple of things and just like proceed with it. And for content, don't get me wrong, like it can absolutely work. Like I've seen content transform businesses like a lot, like going from let's say 30K to like 200K. It can work. It absolutely can. But at the same time, if you think about it, like there's all these gurus out there, maybe Nick Setting, whatever it is, just telling you to do this profile funnel or like content ecosystem. And you need like this specific ecosystem that will just like drive your business forward. And like, you'll nurture these people on your profile. It can work. Don't get me wrong. But as a beginner, if you're trying to run profile funnel yourself, you're editing all of the content and you're just focusing on 30 different things regarding optimizing the funnel. You're doing newsletters and you're doing this and that and this and that. Like you just end up being mediocre at every single one of them. Your content will just get like 100, 200 views and you just won't see results. That's just how it is. And that's just kind of how it looks like, right? So at start, I would genuinely recommend the only thing that kind of drives you forward is just more conversations. Like genuinely, if you just talk to 10 people every single day that has a problem that you can solve and you have good foundations, you will make like 15K a month realistically. You know what I mean? So it's fairly simple and content can help you get more conversations. Like that's the only purpose of content. It's not to like make more money, it's to get more opportunities. But at start, it's better to start with outbound and just generate the opportunities for yourself instead of trying to go into all this, ecosystem and you have this like funnel where like, oh, this engages with that and this engages with that and here's the top of funnel traffic and you have the middle of funnel. Like it's great, but like it doesn't work on the lower like volume side of things, if you know what I mean. So that's just something that kept me stuck for a long time, to be honest. Like I've tried, let's say like 10 different funnels probably, just like trying out a bunch of different things. And in the end, all of them can work. It just depends because people just chase, they see a YouTube video with like, oh, the best funnel to get to 30K a month. And they'll think, okay, let me try that. Whereas the actual thing that works is having someone who will take a look at your business. They will see what exactly is going on. They will know what you actually need to do to get to the next level. And they will pick a personalized solution for you that actually works. And that's also why I offer this kind of solution for clients. I don't do like this big thing where, have this funnel, try to make it work. I've seen some people do it and it just keeps people stuck. Like for example, one client I had, he was doing this whole profile funnel, and he was working with another coach. He was posting like 3 times a day, whatever it is. And he got 1 meeting per 2 weeks. Like he just didn't have much opportunities. The only reason of content is to get more opportunities. So then you have sellers who will just convert these opportunities into actual, closings and like sales. And then from there, you just kind of get more clients and deliver better, right? But he was getting 1 appointment per 2 weeks and it wasn't even consistent. Whereas when we focus on like just getting more conversations, like genuinely his whole business transformed, he was able to get like 3 calls every single day. And from there, like there's no point why that type of person who just gets like 3 calls every single day with people who he knows he can help, they have a problem, they have money to invest, there's no point why you just can't get more clients, you know what I mean? And so that's also the thing. You need to keep business simple, but simple enough to work, right? So that's the 4th thing. 5th thing is like this ego and filling mental gaps. Like you prioritize ego and filling mental gaps rather than purely results. So what do I mean by this? I had one guy that he was kind of thinking where, I could get someone that would just help me out and eventually get me to that next level, right? Get me from point A to point B. I could do that, but at the same time, wouldn't it be better if I just got to point B, like here is, let's say, if it's like another person, but wouldn't it be better if I got there alone and just kind of get this aura of like, oh, this guy made it himself. And don't get me wrong, maybe some people want to do that and no judgment, but if you're caring about results, if you actually want to get to 10, 20K a month, and it's not out there because you just want to look good, but because you actually want to change your life, then you need to prioritize results, right? And so when it comes to results, you have to stop your ego from filling all these gaps. And when it comes to that, like you need someone that will help you out. For example, like I remember myself, I felt I don't need a mentor. Why would I need one? You know, I can always go on YouTube. That's fair. But at the same time, I had this one opportunity that I could invest $7,000, 7K USD. And I was extremely skeptical, right? Like for example, if we take a proper look, like I had this old frequency, right? Old frequency that just kind of kept me stopped. This animal, right? This animal that kind of said, oh, you know, don't do it. Why would you invest like so much money into opportunity? You can do it yourself, whatever it was. But in the end, you still have to go after that person who is at the 20K a month. You still have to think like that person and make the decision not where you are right now. Because, you know, I didn't have that much money. You know, it was harder for me to invest. But still, I did it. And I have genuinely, like, I'm not saying this because my opinion is biased in any way, but I've genuinely made way more progress. Like, if you have someone who will go out there and see that, okay, you have this problem, how do we solve this? You know, he'll take a look at your whole business and genuinely identify what to do next. You'll have more clarity, you'll do things easier. Like, you'll have much more personalized approach for you and you will just see more results. Like, I promise to you, nobody out there in like the entrepreneurship world got there purely by yourself. Self-made millionaire is a joke. It doesn't exist. It's always like millionaires that is as a person, but got help from employees, you know. He didn't do the work like fully himself. He had like, let's say 10, 20 employees, right? That's the first thing. But at the same time, he also had someone who gave him clarity. And then once you position yourself like this, then your only job is to just optimize all of the results and just like get it from there, if you know what I mean. Like, it's genuinely a wrong loop where people start thinking like, oh, I don't need this. But genuinely you do. I mean, maybe not like this. You don't need it. You can go either way. But you would genuinely make like 10 times more progress if you just get off your ego, acknowledge that some people can help you out. Keep that student mindset where you're there to actually learn. You're there to level up. And you're not there, you know, thinking like a boss, you know, or you're at like 2-3K a month, or you're this awesome guy. You're there to still improve. It's not like you're just sitting out there and letting your ego, you think that you're this, you know, great person. You are, don't get me wrong, you're a great person. But at the same time, you have to be happy about your situation, but not satisfied. You still have to go further. Because if not, you'll just plateau at the same level. And what's the point of that, right? So you have to drop that limiting belief of like, I have to do everything by myself. And, you know, actually delegate some employees, delegate low leverage work that you can easily delegate, get someone to help you out, and do it calculately, but at the same time, don't overthink too much, right? So that's another thing. Sixth thing is lack of extreme urgency. And oh boy, I see it a lot, if you know what I mean. So urgency, what is urgency? Urgency is like this feeling where you have to do it now. You know what I mean? Because I know people who are out there saying, you know, oh, I may be like 18, I have my whole life ahead of me. And that's good. Like, that's good that you're thinking this way. But at the same time, that it's not an excuse why, you know, you'll start later. Or maybe not necessarily like this procrastination way of thinking where like, oh, I'll start later. It's more like, I have to do this first, and this first, and this first, and this first. And like, you know, I have to create my own product, and this probably will take me like 6 months and everything. I've been there, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't. So if I told you, for example, that you have to start a new business from scratch, like if someone told me that I have to start a new business from scratch and I have a week, by the week that has been done, it's not like I would just be starting out and, you know, I'll be defining this and this. No. You have to have urgency. If you have a task and you have great urgency, then you can get it done in literally like 30 minutes to an hour. You know what I mean? So if I just had like someone, okay, you have to start this business, I would research it out, I would set up the foundations as soon as possible. By day one, I should have an offer, I should have an ICP, I should have like a market that I want to serve. I want to have like a solution actually, and just like have it all set up because I have that urgency. I know that I have to make it work now. There's no point in waiting because you don't know if you're going to live to like 80. Sure, you probably might. Like if you're, care about your sleep, your health, and you're like not cautious to the point of you having anxiety, but you're safe, then you probably might like live to quite a long time. But still, you need that urgency. You need to have that thinking of, I need to do it now. There's no point in waiting every single time you wait. And that's also a great point. Like think about it like this. If you're at 2K a month right now, and you want to get to 20, every single month you're not at 20, you're losing 18 grand. So it's your responsibility to get those 18 grand back by just doing everything so urgently that you're taking more risks, but you're getting there faster, and you're genuinely doing whatever it takes to get that 20K a month just ASAP. Like, if you have insane urgency, there's nothing stopping you from working like 16 hours a day if you know that it is guaranteed to get you to that point that you want. And then from there, like at 20K a month, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can travel around, you can work 2 hours a day, you can delegate some of the work, you can systemize your business. It's generally the point of freedom. And you have to have that urgency at first to, sacrifice more things in order to get there faster. So that's another thing. Second thing is like waiting for perfect conditions and over-optimizing before taking actions. And oh boy, that's a big one. So it kind of relates into, over-optimizing funnels and like without proper foundations. But at the same time, if you think about it, like some people think that they're not worthy yet. They're not worthy, they don't have enough confidence to make it work, they can't do it themselves, and like stuff like that. It will happen. But you have to understand that if you just wait for perfect conditions, like nothing will change. There's always two types of people. There's the person who says, oh, I need perfect conditions to start. And I need this. And honestly, like I want to focus on the fundamentals first before, going on the client acquisition side of things. I need this and this and this and this and this. And the guy just doesn't make progress, if you know what I mean. Like he just goes out there and do nothing. Whereas the second guy, he goes like, okay, I might not have confidence. I might not have proof of concept. I might not have validation. But in order to actually get it, we have to just start. And it's just like so simple. It feels so simple. But at the same time, if you just understand that the reason why you might not be where you want to are is because you just haven't started, and some things will just figure out by themselves. Like if you just, it's also like the thing with confidence is confidence. You kind of, it's like a loop. It's like proof, and there's the confidence loop. And in order to get proof, you first have to start action without confidence. And so you start without the perfect conditions. You put in so much work that you start seeing the first proof. And then that proof becomes confidence, starts you being confident in yourself. And then that confidence will result into more actions that will just funnel the whole thing forward. But if you don't have everything yet, you just have to start with something, because if you think about it like this, if there's like a mountain, right, and you have a big pile of snow right there, in order for it to start moving, you first have to move it first. You can't wait for it to magically appear here and just like then move from here because it's easier. You have to push it yourself at first, even though if it's hard. You still have to like push it yourself before it actually starts compounding, right? So that's another thing as well. Eighth thing is heavily overthinking decisions, and that's probably the simplest one to understand. It's just, bro, like if you make decisions fast, you'll execute faster as well. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that means if you just have this insane urgency and you're doing things fast, like speed is an important thing for business. If you break it down, like there's this quote that money loves speed, right? Money loves speed. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Because if you just move faster, if you test more ideas faster, and like you're doing all this kind of stuff, And if you're just, doing things faster, it's also you'll do more, and that just directly correlates into money. So if you just overthink decisions, it won't give you anything. Like, you have to move from that your current way of thinking of maybe overthinking everything and move into that future way of thinking where just making decisions or where you want to go. And you have a couple of factors and you're just taking the risk and moving forward. Even though you might not be fully certain, you still have to go after it, right? And I think it's like just not having both to invest. Like, genuinely, it might be the funnier one, but it's genuinely true, bro. Like, I was out there not willing to invest like $10 a month for a software that I would use every single day. And now, bro, like, if you live in this abundance, then you genuinely don't care. But I see people just, not having both, not even having both to, put down like $500 to actually go after their dreams. Like, bro, seriously? Like, seriously, you want to make 20K a month and you're not willing to spend like $300? Like, it doesn't make sense at all. If you take like 20,000 and you put 300 next to it, it feels like fucking nothing. You know what I mean? And at the same time, bro, like, if you're making 2K a month and you want to get to 20 and you're losing 18 every single month, like, if you can get 10 times faster there and you're not willing to invest like 5K to do so, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, bro, you're losing 18K every single month. And if you can get it faster, then you, like, let's say instead of it taking 6 months, it will take 2. Like, 6 months times, let's say, I'll just simplify the 18 into 20. Like, that's let's say like 110 grand, right? You can do a proper math if you want. And getting there in 2 months is like 40 grand. So if you're not, and that gap between those two is like, it's like what? It's like basically 70 grand. So if you're not willing to invest 5K to stop losing 70 grand, like, bro, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, the ROI is there. It's just you taking the risk, you not having the right certainty, but still doing what it takes to actually get there. So yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. And yeah, if you've got sent by this, if you've got sent this video, that probably means we have a call scheduled. And like, dude, I literally had people that went on these calls and now they're making like 10, 15K a month. So bro, it is absolutely possible. You just have to start becoming the person that is already doing it. And then from there, just waiting it for it to manifest. So yeah, get excited for a call. Make sure to show up. That also proves your commitment. Because if you're not committed, you probably will just ghost me wherever. Like, I genuinely don't want to work with people who are not committed at all. Like, but if you're actually committed, I know that you will show up. You will do your best to actually start thinking as that future self. You will actually do whatever it takes. You have that commitment. You want to get there. And as a result, maybe there is a way for me to just help you out. And if that's the case, then, there's always the doors open. But yeah, that's the case. See you on the call, bro. And let's get it, bro. Let's crush it. I want to see you at 20K a month. And I know that you have everything out there. There's everything out there. There's the information out there. There's everything you need. It's just all about you taking the risk, you changing your way of thinking, and you just committing into it. So yeah, that's it. See ya. Peace.